Hi, I'm Randy and welcome to The Simple Chef. Sometimes foods that seem a bit exotic are actually really simple. No, we're not eating emu today, but we are going to make some fresh garden salsa. Hey, well, how about you two? What's up? We're going to pick some of these garden fresh tomatoes and some of these jalapeno peppers. We've got lots of those, so it should be a good spicy batch of salsa. This is a really simple salsa recipe that I kind of made up just so I could use up things in my garden each year that came in abundance. I always had lots of jalapenos because I love them. So we have about 8 jalapenos here. I've picked about a dozen nice ripe tomatoes. Store-bought onions, but you know, they're cheap. I have about 3 large onions, a large green pepper, and I'm even going to put in some nice zucchini out of our garden. I'll cut the outsides off and use the outside layer and dice it up nice and small. The first thing we're going to do though is blanch these tomatoes here to get the skins off them, and I'll show you how to do that right now. You might have heard of blanching before and not really knew what it was. Very simply, it's just taking a tomato and scalding it in some boiling water until you see the skin start to split a bit, and then you take it out and cool it, and the skin will peel off very easily off. What we've done is cut the stem end out of our tomatoes and a little bit off that bottom edge part, and it's just a matter of setting them into the boiling water, and it only takes a short amount of time. You see how the skin is starting to split around that tomato? I'm sure if we take that one out, it should be just about ready. There's all our tomatoes nicely blanched and cooled. As you can see, skin just falls right off them. All there is left to do with these is dice them all up and dice up the rest of our ingredients, of course. And we're going to put it all in a big pot and basically just stew it for a while. I've sterilized a few jars. I like making a big batch of this and canning some of it. It's always handy to have salsa and have guests over and want to make up some snacks. The girl really loves the salsa too, so we're going to make some up for her. Well, our tomatoes are all prepared and diced up, and now we're going to start on the rest of the veggies. One thing you want to remember is dice these things up fairly small, because after your salsa is made, you want to be able to maybe sprinkle some cheddar cheese on there and scoop some up with a tortilla chip. So you want it fairly fine consistency, otherwise it'll just fall off the chip. All of our ingredients diced up in the pot, ready to go on the stove. We're going to bring this to a boil and then turn the heat down, cover it, leave it cooking at least an hour. You'll see the consistency start to set in there. If you decide that it's a little bit too runny for your taste, take the lid off for a while, continue to let it heat, and it will thicken up a bit as it evaporates. Once your salsa starts to stew down a bit, I want to add about 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. Stir that in. Helps preserve it when you can it. Takes a bit of the tartness out of some of it. And we're going to let that simmer with the lid off, let it thicken up a bit, and then we'll be ready to put it in our jars. There's your delicious garden salsa, ready for a chip or a dip. Wasn't that simple?